Hello and welcome to What's Next? Life After Sports. Today is episode 4. I am your host, Louis Baker, and I'm super excited to have you here today as we talk about one of my favorite professional topics, and that is recruitment for jobs. Now, it is April, and for you college seniors, you are looking for jobs as you graduate in May and June. I want to help. I have a 5-step framework that was extremely helpful for me and many of my friends as we came out of college sports and looked for those first jobs. That is the experimentation phase, networking for jobs, the actual application, interviewing and prep, and then the follow-up. Today, we're going to keep it short and sweet on each of these topics, give you a bit of a taste tester, and then in subsequent videos, we will dive in deeper on each one of these areas. So let's kick it off with the experimentation phase. Since this really is ground zero, it is the foundation of the whole job application process and landing a job that you are happy with and that you are excited to go to work each day for. Because after all, at a minimum, you're going to spend 40 hours a week at this job. Some of you are going to spend 60 or 80 at some of these jobs. I know you guys. I was one of you. Now, with that in mind, let's start with the experimentation phase. Now, the experimentation phase is where you really think about and reflect about yourself. What are my priorities in life? What do I want to do after work? What do I find interesting? What do I want to prioritize with family and friends, faith, fitness? Or am I okay as someone who is willing to come out of college? I worked really hard at my sport. I worked 50, 60, 70 hours between school and my sport, and I'm fine with carrying that through at my first job. And you may be heading to investment banking, management consulting, or high tech and have no problem working these kinds of hours. Some of you may be like, wow, I just worked really hard at my sport and academics for the last 4 or 5 years. I'm really tired and I really want to find a job that I find fulfilling and something that is intellectually stimulating and something that I'm super excited to go to every day. But I also want a life out of it. I want to be able to go to the gym on a daily basis. I want to be able to see my family and friends on a nightly basis, on a weeknight. And on a weekend, I want to spend time doing whatever I want to do. So, with saying that, the experimentation phase is the phase where you try to discover what matters to you most. You should be talking to teammates who have graduated recently and sort of what their work-life balance is, what they find interesting about their jobs, and talk to family, talk to friends, and just think about, okay, like, what do I prioritize at this point in my life? Now, a really important part here is do not limit yourself to your major and jobs that you can apply to. I know so many guys and gals who majored in geology, anthropology, history, literature, dance, I think one of them, and they have all gone on to careers that you would never have expected, whether that was high finance, investment banking, management consulting, high tech, corporate finance, you just would never have picked it. So with saying that, do not let your major define you in the experimentation phase. Treat this as a time where you get to reflect about what you find interesting and what skills you have and what skills you can acquire and what you could apply to a job. So after you've done the experimentation phase, naturally, okay, I now think I know what I might want to do. What am I going to do about that? Well, you're going to network. There are a couple different ways that traditionally you network as a college athlete, college student, and that is what we'll call the on-campus phase and the off-campus avenues. So on campus, companies come to campus and they recruit you because there is some kind of relationship between your college and that company. Recruiters, alumni will come to campus and they will present, and then they will try to persuade you to apply if they find you an interesting candidate. This is an incredible avenue. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you are a college athlete, Go to these company presentations if you are interested, even the slightest little bit, because they will tell you everything you need to know at a high level of like what this company is, what they do, what their day-to-day generally looks like. And during the networking component after, which is usually a dinner or a cocktail hour or some kind of event, you will get to network with the alumni who are working there or the recruiters, and they will tell you everything. Like, I cannot emphasize this enough. These events are so important. Go to them. Now, the other side of networking is I would call off-campus, personal network brand type of recruiting. This is your LinkedIn outreach. This is your email outreach. This could be your alumni. This could be coaches recommending you to ex-players that have gone on to do things in certain fields that you're interested in. This is a tremendous opportunity for you to experiment with, okay, I'm really curious about this type of job. Let me get on the phone with someone who I have some kind of connection to or have been recommended to and learn about their job and what they do. Now, be respectful, come planned, come with questions that you think are going to be really helpful in you making the decision of pursuing this type of role or career or company further. And be respectful of their time. They are a professional who is in the working world. They are taking time out of their day, especially some people, whether they're in the finance world, the tech world, or the consulting world, or medical world, whatever it may be. Just they may be really tied up. And for them to take the 15, 20-minute phone call with you, it may be all they have. They may not even be eating lunch because they're having this conversation. So treat it professionally. I know when I came through, I made the mistake of not coming prepared with questions. I tried to treat it as sort of just like a get to know you conversation. That's not what these are. These are conversations of, hey, I'm curious to learn more about what you do. Please teach me about it. But with saying that, here are a list of questions I prepared ahead of time. I've read on your website. I've read on your LinkedIn. I've read on whatever, on job board, on story, Reddit, Quora, whatever it may be. And I have some very interesting questions that are going to help me move forward in my decision-making process. So those are the two different types of networking avenues and traditional networking avenues. This leads us into the application. Now, if you've gone the on-campus route, those recruiters are going to send you an email. Those alumni are going to send you an email. They're going to make sure you are all over it and applying with your resume, which you would have worked with your career center on. By the way, don't miss going to the career center or your career advisors. I cannot recommend this enough. Please use them. They are so helpful, and that is their job. And most of them love helping people who are hungry and excited to go and get a job in a field that they're passionate about. Please use them. They will give you great advice on resume tailoring. So use them. Now, back to this. The recruiters, the alumni, they will come to campus and you will get to know them, and then they will send you emails and follow-ups about how to apply. You will make sure you apply on time. You will have a tailored resume, maybe even a cover letter, and you'll be good to go. The one that takes a little more work is the one that's off campus. Now, I highly recommend before you blindly apply to any job ever, one, don't blindly apply to any job ever. I cannot overstate that enough. Do not do it. Always have a connection to the company, always have a connection to the role. Just figure it out somehow, whether it's through LinkedIn, whether it's through alumni, whether it's through your sport, some kind of connection. Just build a connection with someone at the company, and then they will be able to either one, refer you or recommend you. Two, go to bat for you during the recruitment process. I cannot tell you enough that when I have someone reach out to me and I talk with them, I find them really smart. I find them engaged. I find them really curious about the job or my company. When I ask them to then send over their resume, which they will do at the end of the conversation if they find you interesting most of the time, they will then forward that onto the hiring team or the hiring manager. That person will then flag you, me, or someone at the company as the recommender or the referral. This then gets your resume put in a special pile. You'll be put in the flagged resume special review pile, where you won't just fall in this applicant tracking system or pile of thousands of resumes that just pretty much get auto rejected, quite frankly. Some of them make it through, but most of them get auto rejected. So avoid that. Get your resume flagged. This is how we tie in our networking phase with the applying phase. The people who you talk to, who will then go to bat for you because you make a really good impression upon them, they will be the people that help you get through the initial resume screen. And then they may even be able to talk to the hiring manager about you and say, hey, I really like this guy or gal. They're really impressive. We really need to move forward with an interview for them. Generally speaking, something that is really important here that I forgot to touch on, you generally want to speak and network with people who are one level above you. This means for you coming out of college, this will be analysts or associates of the firm, people who are that 1 to 3 years out. You don't want to go and hit up, most likely you don't want to go and hit up, unless you're referred to, like a VP at the firm. One, you probably don't know how to network with a VP at the firm. There's a huge age gap. It may be a little awkward for them. They may treat it more like an interview during an informational conversation. You really want to focus on those people who have graduated in the last 1 to 3, maybe 5 years, and they can tell you everything you need to know about the firm, the role, the job, just everything you need to know. So get people who want to refer you and recommend you. This is your highest likelihood and best chance for success during the job application process. Cannot emphasize this enough. That leads us to the interviewing and the prep portion. I want you to think of the interview and the prep portion as practice, game day. This is the, hey, I'm going out for ground balls and batting practice and fly balls. This is the, I'm showing up for my live at bats. Now, how do we practice and prep really well? This is going to be a whole different episode, but something we need to dive into at a really good depth. But high level, there are going to be interview guides and resources that you can, clubs on campus that'll prepare you for a variety of different industries. One, you've got consulting clubs or consulting services that'll prepare you for the case and technical interviews. Then there's the investment banking and corporate finance groups. Those will have clubs on campus, or they'll have some kind of resources online through the Career Center that you can use. There are so many of these, by the way. Then there'll be tech, there'll be medical. There are so many resources online that will give you the technical prep that you need. I go to them, because you cannot go to an interview unprepared. It's like never taking batting practice and then being asked to go up there and hit 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Like, it will not happen well. So with that, and the smartest people in the world are just not going to succeed in the interview process unless they are prepared over here with the technical prep. So almost every single one of these desired jobs at first out of college, almost every single one of them will have a technical prep guide online, or resources or clubs to prepare you for the technical portion of the interviews, which will come up in a lot of the interviews. They will come up. There's two different ways to evaluate candidates. There's the behavioral side, and then there is the technical side. With saying that, take care of the technicals. We'll talk about that in a subsequent video, but get in the clubs, talk to the career advice centers, talk to alumni. This is part of your networking outreach process. Like, hey, what do I need to know from the technical standpoint? These people will tell you exactly what you need to know, which resources are good for your industry, which resources are a waste of money or a waste of time. Now, that's your prep side. There's also the behavioral front. Every single firm, every single interview will ask this exact question. They'll say, hey, great to meet you. Walk me through your resume. This is 60 to 90 seconds to shine. This is where you start and you walk through a logical sequence of, I started here, I have these skills, I have these experiences, and that has led me to where we are today in this interview. And you want to tie it all in with a nice bow, and it's going to say, okay. And the interviewer is going to say, okay, I know exactly why this person's here. These are the skill sets that are applicable to this job. I'm interested. Let's learn more. That leads us into the actual interview. This is game day. Crush your technicals, crush your behaviorals, have an answer for the top 5 to 7 most common behavioral questions. Guarantee you can find them online. If not, I will find some resources and link them in subsequent videos, but find them for your industry. They will be online. I can guarantee it. Use YouTube, use Reddit, use your career advisor center. They'll have them. So that's the interview prep. That's the interview. You've crushed the interview. Great job. You've had a great game. Now we come to the last part, which is the follow-up. The follow-up is really simple, quite honestly. It just needs to be short and sweet, and you're home. You're good. This is the, hey, Jane Smith, great to meet you. Thank you very much for taking your time out today of your schedule. Thank you very much for teaching me about XYZ about the firm or XYZ about the role. Greatly appreciate you taking the time. Looking forward to talking in the future. Best or sincerely, insert your name. That's it. Leave it there. Short and sweet. Do not write the 2 to 3, 4, 5 paragraphs about why you want the job in a follow-up. Don't do that. Immediate red flag, gone. You're out. You're done. Just leave it short and sweet. Now, something that I want to talk about with the follow-up is it doesn't matter if they respond to your email. I have gotten a lot of jobs throughout my career that nobody's ever responded to my follow-up email. I have also not gotten jobs that everybody's sent me a follow-up email and responded to it. It doesn't matter. Some people respond, some people don't. Some companies have policies that they will respond. Some companies don't have policies they just don't care. Some people are just very unresponsive, or they've got extremely busy schedules and they just interviewed 30 other people and they're not going to respond to every single one of them. So don't take personal offense if nobody responds to your follow-up. Just keep moving. It's not a problem. But just nail that short and sweet message and you're good. So with saying that, that's your 5-step framework for how to have a successful job search as a student athlete for your first job coming out of sport and coming out of college. The experimentation phase, the networking phase, the actual application, the interview and the prep, and then the follow-up. I hope you found this very helpful. I will do some deep dives in the future in subsequent episodes, and I really appreciate you joining me today. Until next time, have a great evening.